Yo, what's up, everybody? Time for our first Modern Horizons 3 draft on the YouTube channel here. So I've drafted this set about 5 times right now. I have a pretty good run, actually. I've got like 4 trophies out of my 5 deck. This set's been awesome. It's been one of my favorites to both draft and play. I think both the draft and gameplay has been very good. But let's just jump into this pack. So we've got a few rares here. Amphibian Downpour, kind of this weird removal spell that can quote-unquote kill multiple things or nerf multiple things, but be careful. There's a lot of +1/+1 counters running around, so making something a 1/1 isn't actually going to like completely nerf it. But like Kappa Cannoneer, which is a cool card to kind of splash maybe a red-black artifact deck, but blue artifacts isn't like a main thing in this set. Glyph Elemental, I think, is just going to be the card I take here as a really good bestow card. Also an Eldrazi Repurposer, one of the better green commons. 3/3 comes with a spawn token. When it dies, make a spawn token. But I really like Glyph Elemental. It is super cheap. You can play it on turn 2 and it's great. When you bestow it, it's great. It's a premium threat, premium enhancement for the modified deck. So a lot of stuff to like about that. This pack, we have another card that kind of fits a lot of those things I just said here. Reckless Pyrosurfer. I have been extremely impressed with this card. So it's a 2/2 for 2 that has haste, which is just pretty good on its own. But it also has Landfall, give your things Battle Cry, which is just when this attacks, your other creatures get +1/+0. So that's pretty good on its own. But then when you count the fact that we've got fetch lands in this format at common, you can have that double and Battle Cry triggers do stack. So you can really attack for a lot of damage. There's also a Conduit Goblin. I've been really impressed with this card as well. Fanged Flames, kind of a fine removal spell. It's actually kind of tricky, you know, going through these packs because so many of these cards are playable. There's like very few cards in each pack that are unplayable. So for the early drafts of the format, I'm going to try to do my best to point out all the awesome cards in the pack, but forgive me, I'm definitely going to leave some out. There's just not enough time in each pick to call it all the sweet cards. There is time in this pick to focus on Writhen Chrysalis, though, so if you've caught any of this format yet, played it, watched any streams, you've probably caught on to the mythic comment of the set. This is sort of the Inspiring Overseer-esque card where I think if you just see this card, you should take it. I imagine there's going to be like 10, 15, 20 cards in the set that are better than this card, but it's really just absurd. Effectively a 4 mana, 4/5 reach that also ramps you, makes 3 bodies, just, yeah, really, really good. Bountiful Landscape, one of the better lands, because it is the Teamer land, and that's the one that touches all the Eldrazi colors, plus colorless, of course. All right, then we get to this pack, and we've got a few options. Cursed Wombat, really strong card as well. Not exactly touching what we're doing, but I could see us moving into like a Jund deck and kind of getting rid of this red-white aggro start. It's something that I wouldn't mind. There's also Refurbished Familiar, and I don't think the red-black artifact deck is awesome, but this is one of the best commons for the deck. Might just be the best common. I think, though, I'm just going to take this Cursed Wombat. We've also got Eldrazi Ravager as like a fine top-end card, a red-green duel, red-green-black duel, and I could take that too. I think that's the second most likely card I take there, but I think Cursed Wombat's just strong enough to take it. And now another interesting pack here. So we've got Conduit Goblin. I could just take that again, go down this red-white path, but there's a Skittering Precursor, and this card is just generically strong, plays pretty well with our Chrysalis, just making more spawn tokens. Also triggers off of your fetch lands, so that's something, another reason the fetch lands are pretty good. This card's like Skittering Precursor. Also, there's an Abzan land here and a Mardu land, but I think I'm just going to go with the Precursor. Plays nicely with the Pyrosurfer as well, just giving your spawn tokens battle cry is kind of cool. All right, this is the third Conduit Goblin we're seeing here, and I think I take it here. There's also a Proud Pack Rhino. This card is strong, but the fact that we did see some earlier and, you know, we could wheel them kind of pushed me towards taking Conduit Goblin here. There's some fine cards here, like Spell the Worthy is a medium removal spell. Jolted Awake can be pretty good in some decks. Like, I think in a red-white aggro deck, if you've just got a bunch of really good high-value 2s, Jolted Awake's a fine card. And we kind of already have that, to be honest, but yeah, I'll just take the Conduit Goblin here. Oh, okay, so here's a cool one I'm glad we get to talk about. Ral and the Implicit Maze. So this is a card that in set review season, I was pretty high on. Other people were kind of high on it. Other people very low on it. One of the big question mark cards of the set. I play this card a lot, and I just think it's pretty good. It cleans up all the spawn tokens, any 1/1s lying around. Really good against, you know, if we just look at my red-white aggro curve, like, kind of just completely wrecks it. And I think it's not at its best in, like, a red-white aggro deck, but I also think it's really powerful in general. Sorry, I'll hover on it a little bit. And one thing to note about this card I think a lot of people miss on the initial read is that it just targets your opponent. It does not deal damage to your stuff. You kind of read like, okay, it deals 2 damage to each creature in Planeswalker your opponent's control. So that's a really big deal. Ooh, also another one I'm really happy we see is Sundering Eruption. So this card, you know, these MDFCs, they're just strong. Just a quick guideline. I think you can replace the first 2 lands in your deck with these MDFCs pretty cleanly. But specifically, I really like picking this up here. Also, Inspired Inventor pretty good too, just to call out. But we've got Reckless Pyrosurfer. And when you have Reckless Pyrosurfer plus the Sundering Eruption, well, what that means is you have, your team can't be blocked, but you target your own land and you go get another land. So if you play a land per turn, cast Sundering Eruption on your own land, double landfall triggers, and your opponent's stuff can't block. So that's obviously really strong. Here's our wheel pack. We see Serum Visionary. That card's pretty strong. I think I am just going to take the Jolted Awake here. Grixis land, not something we really want here. And hopefully those goblins come back. If not, no big deal. We get a Fanged Flames back. No, that's fine. Solid removal spell, so take that. The Hellkite. Yeah, I don't think we're going to play this card, but also probably not playing Mogmob. I think both these cards are pretty difficult to cast. Yeah, I think there's a world where the Hellkite gets in there. A little bit more than the Mob anyways. All right, Dog Umbra, not a bad card too. Dog Umbra is pretty good against the Eldrazi decks and the modified decks, because obviously your opponents are casting Giant Eldrazi. Just the pacifism works pretty well against those, but if your opponents are going all in on one creature for their modified decks, it's good to lock that down too, where some of the other removal spells don't hit some of the modified things because they get out of range pretty quickly. Pack 2 here. So we've got a really strong card in Spring Heart Nantuko. A lot of words on it, but basically what this amounts to is if you bestow it on something and then you play a land, you can pay 2 to make a copy of what this is bestowed onto. And then if this isn't bestowed, land drop, you just get a 1/1 for free. I'm just going to take Scurry of Goblins though, because this card's awesome in a red-white aggro deck. And I do think, just based on how pack 1 went, I'm most likely to be in a red-white aggro deck. But Scurry is great finisher. If your opponent's got a lot of cheap removal early on, just this is a good thing to follow up your opponent's stopping your early aggression. A bit of an army in a can. You don't really have to be super energy heavy for it to be good. Obviously, it gets a little bit better if you are. But yeah, just happy to take it. Also, Skoway Ember Mage, just a 6-mana, 4/4 ETB to deal 4 to something. Not a bad card. All right, another Nantuko. So passing those along, and not too sad about that. Like I said, I think our red-white deck looks pretty good. So we'll just kind of soft lock into that. Out of this pack, what do I like? I think Nyxborn Unicorns are pretty solid too. Really good when you have ones as well, because you can go like 1-drop, play this, Mentor onto your 1-drop. I think that's probably what I'm taking here over like another Dog Umbra, Hexgold Slith. There's also Blood-Soaked Insights. This card's okay. Not one of the better MDFCs, but, you know, definitely a card that I could consider. I don't think I'm going to take it over a good 2, especially because Unicorn also doubles as a good 4. All right, so now this pack, we've got Strength of Harvest. This is one that I could be interested in, just playing a bunch of creatures and then suiting one of them up. Another Unicorn. There's that Ember Mage we talked about. So I think it's really between Strength of the Harvest and Unicorn. I think I'm actually probably going to take Strength of the Harvest because there's a chance I just get enough incidental green sources that I can end up playing this Writhing Chrysalis. Like, this is a green-white dual land on the back. I should have probably called that out first, but this is one source, and if, say, we pick up the Naya land, that's like 3 sources if we play a mountain at that point, so I can see all those cards getting in there. Okay, out of this pack, some good old Eldrazi cards. I like Path of Annihilation a lot. Territorial Color is pretty good. Colossal Dreadmask, also a decent overperformer early. 6-mana, 6/6 equipment that you can toss around later. But yeah, I do think having an actual red-white dual land is nice here. Upgrading our land slot into a spell. This can also just like kill the opponent out of nowhere sometimes, especially when paired with Strength of the Harvest. So yeah, I like taking my dual land here. This pack kind of sucks. Like, actually nothing we want in it. There's Mogmob, but again, very hard to cast. I guess I take it. The other thing I should do is take Evolution Witness, because this is a card that, like, it's the most playable card in the pack. Past that, and maybe we have some giant pivot to green-red, but I think we just have too many white cards to consider that. So I'll take the Mob, and we might play it if we end up very heavy red. Like, all the rest of the cards we take this draft are red. There's a world. Area Auxiliary, just a good one, though. Just a nice 4-drop. Really happy to have this. Multiples. Yeah, this is one of the ones you're looking for, especially with Conduit Goblins. It's really good. Just giving your 3/3 flyer haste is pretty nice. So yeah, deck is looking good. Now we can take a Metastatic Evangel, which is a card I've liked quite a bit. It's not amazing in our deck. Like, it's mostly just proliferating energy. But there is the common, I pointed out last pack, the common 2 and a white 2/2 that you can either, when it enters the battlefield, either put a counter on it, or make a 1/1 token, or get 3 energy. And so just going like Evangel into that 3-drop and put a counter on it, make it a 4/4 is pretty nice. All right, here we're just going to take Mandibular Kite. Really good 1-drop. Plays well with the Mentor stuff. Honorable of the Ancestors okay, too. Maybe even a little bit better than okay, but a little bit better for like a green-white deck that's maybe a little bit slower. than ours. Mandibular Kite just really, really nice at giving me some reach, giving me a 1-drop, gives me a modified creature for cards I care about that. All right, Skoa comes around, so yeah, I'll take a Skoa. All right, and here's that Blood-Soaked Insight coming back around. I doubt we play it at this point, but there's a small chance. Ooh, okay, yeah, second Skoa. So these, have the grander ability, so they don't exactly get worse in multiples. They get worse in multiples because it's multiple 6-drops in our aggressive deck, but I can see playing both of them. Okay, now we can take a Void Pouncer as a fine 2/5-drop, but I actually think I'm going to take Thriving Skyclaw. It's not a fantastic card, but if you can't pay the colorless on the 3/1, it's pretty mediocre. Not to say that Thriving Skyclaw is all that much better, but I think it is a little bit better. Especially because it gives us energy. Some of our cards care about that. Hasting out with Conduit Goblin's not that bad. All right, so we open in our pack 3 a Tamiyo, which is a really good Planeswalker. Kind of a blue Ragavan, if you want to look at it that way. But we're just going to take Galvanic Discharge here as an extremely efficient removal spell. Another Raoul in the Implicit Mage, but I do think this card sort of has some diminishing returns. Raven Charm, another removal spell I wouldn't mind having, but I think we're kind of okay on removal now. We've got 2 or 3 really good ones. Ooh, look, another one. Another Flipwalker. Grist a little bit worse than Limited because it's kind of hard to fulfill its requirement, but still definitely a playable card still. Gonna take another Area Auxiliary. There's also a Party Thrasher, 1/4 for 2. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you can discard a card. If you do, exile the top 2 cards of your library, and you can play one of them. So a little bit of filtering. You basically get to cast Tormenting Voice each turn. But, yeah, not going to take it over a good threat. And then we get a Smelted Chargebug, and this is another pretty big overperformer. It looks a little bit anemic, just as like a 2-mana 1/3, but it mostly attacks for 2, because when you pump something, of course, you get another point of power. And just having 2 menace things going is really nice. Like this, plus whatever you get the pump to. So, yeah, happy to pick that up. Another Skoa Embermage, eh? Do we just want a Hexgold Slith instead? Yeah, our 2-drop count is not super high, so I am just fine taking a fine 2-drop. Not one of the better ones, but it's totally playable. I think I like that over the 3rd Skoa. Okay, so here's that creature I was mentioning before that works pretty well with the Evangel here. Whenever a non-token enters the battlefield, you proliferate, just make it a 4/4. And then every creature that enters after this just keeps growing it. I think I'm going to take that. There's also a Guardian of the Forgotten. All your modified creatures die into 2/2s, essentially. It's an okay card, but I think not as good as the Inventor. Ooh, okay, this pack is kind of spicy. We have another Glyph Elemental. We also have another Inventor. We also have another Mandibular Kite. That's a really tough one. And at this point in the format, I actually don't know which one I want more. I mean, it's easy to just be like, take the uncommon, and I think I actually probably will just do that. But I would not be surprised if either of these cards are slightly better here. All right, another Chargebug, so that's nice. So yeah, this deck's definitely coming together nicely. Get another Inventor. All right, Raven Charm. Yeah, I'll grab that over like a Simulacrum or a Solstice Zealot. I think both those cards are worse. Also, I think that Raven Charm's just better than Fanged Flames, for example. Like, we've got Sorcery Speed, deal 4, and Instant Speed, deal, more often than not, 4, 6, 8, especially in a deck like this. All right, last parts of the pack. Don't really matter too much. Another Jolted Awake. Yeah, probably not going to play that, but more likely to play that than another Skyclaw. Probably won't play the first Skyclaw, actually. All right, another Skoa Embermage, so that can be an option if you want it. Again, I don't think we're going to play it, but we shall see. Kite Wheels. All right, yeah. Roadway very open in this pod, luckily. All right, so I am just going to build from the ground up here. Let's just take everything out, just because we have so many cards. And I don't think I'm going to play the tap land, the green-white tap land here, wherever that is, Strength of the Harvest. Mostly because we have 2 other MDFCs in the Leadership and Eruption. These are pretty easy 1-to-1 swaps, just like take out a land, add these, or take a land for each of them and add them. Like, a way to think about it is just you can afford 2 tap lands, and this one's even a little bit better than tap land because you can pay 3 to have it untapped. But once you get to the 3rd tap land, especially in a more aggressive deck, you do run into some problems, some awkwardness. Like, I could see playing this card, I would just want to count it as a spell rather than a land after I have 2 lands being replaced by MDCs in the first place. And I think we're not going to have trouble getting better spells into our deck. So that would be my logic here. Okay, so just putting in the good creatures. Yeah, the Kites, the Scurry. And how many we have? 11 and 6. So are we playing these Skoas? I don't think over the good 2s. We're going to play these 2 removal spells. That brings us to 13 creatures, 14 when you count Scurry of Goblins. I think these lists are our worst 2-drops, and we've got a lot of 2s. I don't really feel too inclined to play these. Like, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's a good number of 2s. Ral in the Implicit Maze is good, but we just have kind of more of a focus deck here. Not great in an aggressive deck. So I guess the last 2 cards could just be 2 Ember Mages. Like, they do go to face, which is nice. You know, having 4 damage go to face at some point is pretty sweet. And I can just play 1 more Slith, and we've got, you know, 16, 9. It's, of course, counting these as spells, and that looks pretty good. All right, let's ship that, and we'll see you in the games. All right, really nice hand here. Conduit Goblin into Glyph Elemental. And I'll try my best to hover over a lot of these cards as I play them, because it is just day 1. So, especially with a ton of words on all these cards. I know it is not the easiest to follow along, perhaps. Once on green-white, cast a Faithful Watchdog. So this is pretty good. It's just a 3-mana 3/3 Vigilance, but cares, you know, it comes pre-modified for all your cards that care about that. Let's go Kite Elemental. Yeah, on the Goblin. Play a land, get a trigger. Play Hellkite. Alright, Mandibular Kite. I keep calling this thing a Hellkite. Probably gonna not stop calling it a Hellkite. If they want to trade off here with the Goblin, that's totally fine. I get my Glyph Elemental. Yeah, that's fine. And then we can just Scurry of Goblins next turn. So as you see, like, we allowed a trade to happen, or we're able to trade with their larger creature, and now we've got a 3/3. This thing's going to be a 4/4 now. Yeah. All right. Cast Scurry. Get 4 energy. I'm not going to activate this just yet because it doesn't actually do that much, but we'll get in with these. And I guess if that was the case, I probably should have not cast this pre-combat, but... All right, sweet. Yeah, this, one of the better commons. I think we saw this in the draft. Repurposer just stops aggro pretty well. Not my exact aggro start with a flyer and a gigantic creature, but ramps you. Is a roadblock. Pretty good card. Opponent looks like they're on the straight up Obzon modified train. Solstice Zealot. All right. 2/3 gets 2 energy. They can spend an energy to tap something. All right. Oh. Well, the Grandeur ability might actually come into play here. Just dumbing them for 8. Right? Like, if we draw a land next turn, and I think I should even probably just shift this this Kite over to the Glyph Elemental. Deal them 5, and then land is just GG. Yeah, let's just let's do that. We lose our 1/1 flyer here, but that's totally fine. And also, even if we don't hit the land, I guess it's not lethal. It's not lethal because they have this tapper. But if they didn't have this tapper, we just activate Scurry, give our creatures +1, and kill them. All right, so they need life gain here, not just die. Cursed Wombat. That is not life gain. And we need to hit her land, of course, but... All right, they pass. We do not hit the land. So what do we want to do? They're going to tap down here. We can mentor one of the goblins, make it a 3/3. Yeah, I don't mind that. So I'll just bestow here. And by the way, with bestow, if you haven't come across bestow, if you... Yeah, I'll stack with everything. If your opponent, if my opponent killed this token, for example, I would still get the unicorn. It's not like a normal aura. All right, so get in. Yeah, mentor that thing. I assume they go block, block. They might just block with 1 here. And then I don't have to activate this Scurry. Yep, okay, they do. So I do have to activate. And we could get God in here. Like, they could have a trick. But that's kind of okay. Oh! I fell for the onboard trick. Sorry. They just had the Eldrazi spawn, of course. All right, well, that didn't work out exactly how I wanted. Because I just missed the onboard trick of being able to adapt this thing. But we're still in a fine spot. All right, flyer, sure. Fine spot as in As long as they don't just kill us before we draw our land, we should be okay. Yep, I'm getting for 7. To their credit, though, if we didn't draw the land right here, actually would have been really, really bad. Because they just, like, tap down, almost kill us. All right. Skoa. Domia. And just like it's the ancient times, cast Fire Blast. Cool. All right, nice. I don't think the opponent can have anything here for a single green. Plane cycling. All right, that does not do it. GG's, opponent. GG's. Nice. All right, scheme 2 here. A Pyrosurfer in hand. Bunch of 4s in hand, too. Ooh, Glyph Elemental's nice. All right, Pyrosurfer, come on down. Get him for 2. Next turn, we can go Elemental on this thing. Play a land. Basking Broodscale. Okay. So this, oops. Yeah, this is a 2/2 that they can adapt from 1 to green to put a counter on it. And then when they do so, they make a spawn. Also, whenever any +1/+1 counter goes on this thing, they make a spawn. All right. Let's get in. Cephaloid Coliseum, so a land that deals them a damage each time I tap it. Cast a Repurposer. Yeah, so this is kind of what I mean with these Eldrazi decks. Like, they do a pretty good job of stopping ground attacks most of the time. Although, I'm going to be able to attack past this Repurposer still. Okay, so let's go Mountain. I guess I just Scurry here, right? Yeah, it gives me some stuff to cast the Arion and support 2. Oh, sorry, I don't have 4 creatures, so I can't do that. All right, well, that is a little bit less good, obviously, but I think I would have still chosen to do this next turn, or this turn, even if I remembered that I wouldn't have the 4 energy. That's one of the things about this set, like, all these little, when you do this, that happens, or when you read a card, you shortcut it to something else. I think that's the kind of stuff that's been tripping me up for the first day or 2 of the set. So, just one of those things where you just double check what your spells do when you cast them. These cards have a lot of words on them. Alright, in with the Broodscale. They're still racing, eh? Okay. I respect it. I mean, they're not that far behind on the race. They might be casting. There's like the Emerge 5/5 flyer. That costs 7 to emerge. They can cast it. Like, they sack the Repurposer, pay 4. That'd be pretty good. It's like a 5/5 flyer that puts 2 stun counters on stuff, taps them down. Demon Inferior. All right, that is fine. And I do think I want to redraw that. I won't play my land here. All right, now let's go Airy. You and you. Or I guess, no, I should play my land here because I have another land. And, of course, it grows the Glyph Elemental. But you can still go, like, play the Surfer, play a land, play the Unicorn next turn. They're forced to do a jump here. This land dealt them a damage or 2. Oh, they just chose not to block. All right, that works, too. I guess they just felt they were a little bit too behind. Okay, yep, another nice start here. Kite into Charge Bug. It's a lot of damage up front. Play a Mardu Cycling Land. All right, get in. Yeah, I've gotten some questions about speed of the format, as often happens at the beginning of a format. And I think this format's got a pretty wide range of decks. There's going to be really fast starts because there are just more powerful cards running around, right? But I've gotten to some really grindy games as well. So yes, sometimes you're gonna come into that start. Like we've had a few starts here that are just like really hard to come back from, but a lot of games that just grind out to a reasonable halt. All right, they played a Tempest Harvester, 2/1, gets 2 energy. They can tap it to loot. And we'll get in here. I think I do want to pay the energy here. Kind of close. Yeah, I think just get while the getting's good here. My deck isn't like super energy focused, so it's not like I want to save it for that many other things. All my energy cards generate their own energy. So I'd rather just attack for 3. Okay, they're looting, so probably means the Charge Bug is going to get in again this turn. Loot away land. Ooh, what is this? They shock in a land, they play Kaith. Okay, so they 3-mana 3/3 Fabricate 1 that all their other creatures have Fabricate 1, which means they can either choose to put a +1/+1 counter on them or make a servo token. And then it's got the tap ability to either populate or proliferate. It's a good one. This Evangel was nice with this Aerie. So we do this, and if we attack here, the Charge Bug gets eaten by this. They just double block, so that's a little unfortunate. We'll just keep that around for Evangel purposes. Hoping our flyers can get them down to a lowish life total so that this Skoa can deal with the last few points. Because we're not getting in on the ground much longer here with this thing going around. Alright, Bespoke Battle Wagon. This card's solid. I've seen it do some good things. I've seen it do some not good things. Just be a little bit too clunky, but right now, it's more of the not great things because it doesn't actually do anything. They can block on the ground, but doesn't stop our flyers here. All right, Scurry. That was a reasonable draw. So do we want to cast Scurry now? It helps our Charge Bug attack, so I think yes. We actually can activate the haste ability here this time. Yep. So yeah, we do that. Give Menace to one of these gremlins. Bash in there. They can block something, but we're just putting them to a really low life total here. Yeah, that's fine. This has Menace. They cannot make that block. All right. Yeah, there's no good block for them there. Sweet. All right. Yeah, nice start here too. 1, 2, or this 2 if I'd prefer. I guess this meta Static Evangel not doing a ton. Well, that's not true. With the Area Auxiliary, it's really good. Oh, now it's doing a ton. Okay, so now we're gonna go Evangel into Inventor into Auxiliary, and that's just an absurd start. So see what the opponent has to combat that. I have a Sultai land in play that they choose not to crack, which is something you're going to do quite a bit. Just not cracking your fetch land to have the colorless mana up. Let's get in. Wither and Bloom, sure. Totally fine. Let's see, 2 mana, -2, or -3, -3. You can exile it from your yard to put a counter on something. Kami of a Jealous Thirst. Okay. 3 mana, 1/3 that they can pay 5 to drain you for 2, but if they draw on 3 of the cards this turn, that is a free ability. So +1/+1 counter here. We get to Prolif. Yes, yes. They're gonna stomp. Alright, it's annoying. Bite Spell MDFC and put a counter here. Yeah, that's totally fine. Okay. So now what? I guess now we just go Pyrosurfer Charge Bug. I could also just trade off this Evangel at this point. That would be okay. Or sorry, no, I can't because like don't get the Battle Cry unless this thing attacks. So yeah, let's just go Pyrosurfer. No thank you. I would not like to grow my opponent's creature. Yep. Oh, I did this backwards. Sorry, I should have played the Charge Bug first because I would have been able to Prolif my energy. My bad. Forgot about that. So I'm down in energy that I should have, basically. Ooh. Wormcoil Larva. 3 mana 3/3, or 5 mana 3/3 dies into a 1/2 and a 2/1. Okay, so we're just gonna play Aerie Auxiliary here. Put it on the Charge Bug and the Evangel. Yeah, that seems pretty good because we can suit up the Evangel in the air. And the Prolific goes off too. Nice, nice. And yeah, just pass. Fetter Gargantua. So when they adapt this, they can, or when this gets put counters on it, they can 5 mana 4/4 adapt for 2 for 3 mana. When counters are put in this, they can draw 2, lose 2. All right, so they're offering the trade with the Larva and like say my Charge Bug. I could just take this, kill Gargantua, attack for a lot. Yeah, I think I'm kind of into that. Land would be nice, because then I can Battle Cry. Ooh. Oh. Hold on. Do we have lethal? Do we have lethal? It's not quite, but it's a lot of damage. So, let's go. Yeah, Eruption. Target my mountain. Sure. Or not the... No. We want to target a tapped one. Yeah. This Battle Cry goes off. Get in for a lot of damage, and I will pay the energy here. Get an additional point. Would it have been lethal if we had a natural land drop? Not quite, but close. Okay, so now we just chill. I think we're going to want to just kill this before combat goes through. They've got this Kami of Jealous Thirst, of course, but that's okay. Okay, so stop this damage. Should I overpay here? By 1? I think it wouldn't hurt. Plays around a thing or two. Okay, cool. Ooh. Okay, they lose 2. So they are dead in the air to both the Charge Bug and the... Or sorry, the Auxiliary and the Evangel if I suit it up. Sorry, not quite. I'd have to attack with the Charge Bug to give this +1. And then they get to block with their lifelink token. So that's not quite true. They get the free drain, though, so I forgot about that. They are dead without a removal spell, though. We draw a Unicorn. Okay, so... Hellkite... Mandibular Kite, same thing. Not at all, but... An in. We're not dead on the crackback. Alright, that was it. Sweet. This is a hand that is keepable because of our MDFC over here. So, yeah. We'll keep this. Probably gonna go Kite into Unicorn. Unicorn pumps the Kite and also gets multiple creatures in play for Raven Charm. They play a Jund Sackland over here. Red-green, alright. Red-green is definitely one of the better decks on the back of Writhing Chrysalis. Card is just really absurd. Malevolent Rumble, a card I like a lot too. 2 mana sorcery, look at the top 4, take a creature, or sorry, a permanent, and make a spawn token. So imagine they're going to take this Repurposer. Could take the island too, depending on their hand. Yep, take a Repurposer. So that makes me not want to play the Unicorn. I mean, I guess I could, and actually, Discharge makes that a lot better. I was going to say, I guess I could, and then just Raven Charm this thing. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Okay, so just get in. Cast my Unicorn. Ooh, they're gonna play a Chrysalis here. They're touching their Eldrazi spawn. Yeah, there it is. All right, the big bad of the formats. So again, I'll hover over this 4-mana 2/3 that they can, whenever they sack an Eldrazi, put a counter on it. Okay, so we draw a mountain. Really blunts our attack here, unfortunately. But we do just get to play Charge Bug. Next turn, we can kill this Chrysalis. Although, can't kill if they play this Repurposer. No, that's not true. That is not true. I still get to do 6 damage, so. No attacks. It also has reach, just hidden in there in case you didn't see that. Might be a game where this Sundering Eruption is supposed to deal 1,000,000 damage, and that's how we win. Ooh, Eldrazi Ravager. Okay, we can actually kill that thing, which is very, very thankful we can actually kill this thing. Oh, and they attack? Okay, this is actually going to work out really well. Thraben Charm, again, coming in clutch. Nice, do that too. Okay, because this is relatively annoying. If this thing starts to attack, you do just kind of start to lose. But deal 6 to it. They can bring it back by sacking 2 spawns. But we'll do this. Mentor onto... I think we want to get our damage in while we can. So I think I do Pan Energy here. Mentor onto the Charge Bug. I would probably Mentor onto the Flyer if they didn't have a reach creature, but they do, so I won't. Oh, you know what? That was silly of me. Really silly. I should have just killed this Chrysalis straight up with this Galvanic Discharge. Definitely worth not just having another point there. Olympus Aberration. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see if this punishes me. I imagine it actually might. And they're going to gain 3 here with a removal spell too, with the fight spell gain 3. Yeah, that's punishing. All right, so this game's on me if we lose it. Yeah, if we're lucky, we just draw an energy card here. Yep. Kill a thing, gain 3, all for 1 mana. So good. All right, not just completely dead though. We do get to get in for 2 here. Yep. I could even like bash in, deal 3, discharge post blocks. That might be the line here. Or just after damage gone through, because either way, if they lose this, then the clock is significantly shortened of them killing us, and we also get to put a counter here. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to do that. All right, still not in our favor, but we have 6 in the air. Like, they win the race. Especially if they maybe just sack here, which I think they will just to grow the Chrysalis. They're winning the race here. And they deal us 5, and then... Oh, God. They're definitely winning the race here. This card is ridiculous. Combat math gone, because this thing just kills me so quickly. It might just kill me on this turn, actually. Or at least effectively, because I'm going to have to block. No, I go to 1. So this is 3-mana 3/3 trample that pumps a creature each turn based on the number of Eldrazi you control. So am I just supposed to block here? What's the path to me winning? Okay, I guess I can draw a removal spell for this and then this, and that's how I win this game because I'm not racing them. Oh, sorry, this doesn't trample over. Just this thing that has trample. Okay, makes it a little better. Static Evangel. That's not going to be it. So we get in. They pump itself. All right, not quite dead. But looking pretty dead. I think they have to kind of mess up for us not to lose this game. All right, and they play a Trampler. Yeah, okay. So yeah, as you can see, the Red Green Eldrazi deck off the back of Chrysalis, and a good rare or 2 here, or just 1, but good commons. It's one of the better decks at common and uncommon, I think. I think it's going to be one of the early boogeymen of the format for sure. All right, pretty solid hand. Look, this is a good example of MDFCs being great. This is not a keepable hand if these are just basic lands. Now, mind you, the hand smoother would not give me a 5-land hand invest one most likely, but point stands just to make a point here that if this were just a naturally drawn hand of 7 cards, this would not be a keepable hand in my aggro deck with 2 spells, 5 lands. So thank you, MDFCs. All right. Opponent plays a Sarpedian Simulacrum. 1 mana, 1/1 haste that they can sacrifice to deal 4. And a Detective Phoenix. All right, this is a nice one. This is a card with a lot of words on it, but let's take a second to read it. So this is just your classic Phoenix, 3 mana, 2/2 haste flyer, but you can also bestow it for a single mana. You have to collect evidence 6 as well, but you can also bestow it from your graveyard. So it just keeps coming back, makes giant threats, really, really strong. We're just going to go attack in here. Yeah, get in. Grow this thing. Player processor. Luckily, we've got a really good clock on them, especially with this Sundering Eruption, meaning we just have to get to our board presence equals their life total. And that's not hard at all with this Legion leadership too. Yeah, okay. Thriving Skyclaw. Totally fine. Draw land. Okay, so what do we want to do about this? I think we Glyph Elemental onto this Unicorn so we can mentor our flyer here. Get in for a bunch. They probably trade off here. I can see them trading off here too, but we've got this double strike trick in hand. Oh, they don't block. I guess it's pretty safe to just go for this. Like, deal them 3 here. That means they need 2 removal spells to not die next turn. So, I like that. Oh, I guess not entirely true, because they have 2 flyers. I was thinking this is just a, your creatures can't block, but it's creatures with a flying that can't block. So, it makes my play there a decent amount worse. Okay, so now, they can sacrifice the Simulacrum. To like block sack, do some stuff. I think that's still okay. So let's just get in. If maybe I'm supposed to still cast this Eruption here, because if this is their only way of surviving, then they do die. They obviously don't die to if they have another removal spell in hand, but looks like that might be the case. That's just this. Oh, okay. They just are done. All right, well. Yeah, I think I was still supposed to cast that Eruption there. Didn't quite think about how, if they did just have a removal spell, they'd still be forced into a chump with the Phoenix. Yeah, should have thought that through a little more, but, when you're ahead, you can make some slightly loose plays. All right, so we've got, that nice little start of 1 and 2 Nyxborn Hydra. Nyxborn Unicorn. Getting the names mixed up in this set. too many creatures from too many planes at this point. Nyxborn Hydra is another card, though. All right. In. Play the Unicorn. Ooh, Fanatic Ronus. This is kind of a nasty card. So, 2 mana, 1/4, taps to add green, but if you have a 4-power creature, it taps to add 4 green, and you can exile it from your grave and pay 4 mana to get a 4/4 copy of it. So we'll get in. Drawing a Charge Bug is kind of nice here, too. Yep, they block. Totally fine. Play another Kite. Play a Charge Bug. Unicorn can grow Charge Bug. Yeah, if they tap out for a 4-drop, we still get in with all our creatures, because this has Menace, we can give this Menace. Colony of Jealous Thirst. Okay, that's okay. Not a card I care too much about. So, if we attack with the Charge Bug with a counter on it, it still gets eaten. Not true, because we can attack the Unicorn to mentor it, but that actually doesn't work, because we can't put a counter on this pre-combat with this and mentor onto it. So I think this is just a Play Inventor, get in with the flyers. I'm going to put a counter on. Usually I would want to spread out my threats. Like, put a counter here, put a counter here, so if they have 1 removal spell, I don't get gotten. But, since it's a living weapon, I actually might want the opportunity to move this over to a higher powered creature at some point. Fetid Gargantua. All right. Not too bad. Ooh, Pyro Surfer. Yeah, that's a good one. So, Fire Surfer, land, and Vash Vermilion. Yeah, this Pyro Surfer card's a really nice one. So we're giving Menace here or something. Yeah, I guess we give Menace to the Pyro Surfer. And Mentor onto the Flyer. Take action. Yes, yes, yes. Take Bajillion. You had 1. And your go. They might take the honorable way out and just adapt this. Oh, no. They've got 4 mana from this Ronus. Okay. Oozewag. Expanding Ooze. They could have the... Actually, kind of the way Auto Tapper is tapped here. Kind of seems like they have the deal damage to something equal number of swamps you control. So that would gain them 3. We draw Fanged Flames. It's a good way to get rid of this Ronus for good. So what's going to happen in that case? They kill my Germ. I get him for 2 here still. Could have nothing, of course. I don't think that affects me wanting to Fan Flangs pre-combat. Oh, maybe it does, right? Because they're going to go up to 4, gets him for 2, kill something, give this Menace. This is going to have Menace. It's close. I think I'd rather just have multiple things to send in on future turns with these kites. I don't think putting them... But yeah, like I said, it is close. They also kill us on the crackback, or start to crack us back pretty nicely, like pretty soundly. So maybe I'm supposed to kill one of these things, like the Oozewag, instead of the Fanatic. Okay, we'll just get in with the Flyers. Kill the Oozewag post-combat. That is what they have. And here we go. So they're still dead. They can't activate their Gargantua. So you need to have something else. Dread Mask does not do it. And we've got 2 lethal threats now. Okay, they're going the honorable way out. They're just dealing themselves 2 damage. All right, cool. All right, this is the trophy game. So let's make it count. I think this is a good enough hand. Like, we've got a Hasty 2/2 into this, into a removal spell if we need it. Charge Bug plus Pyro Surfer is a nice little combo. So yeah, I do think I keep this hand. White spells are bad, but basically everything else is good. And our deck isn't like loaded with white spells. It's about half and half. Ooh, drew another land. Got the Pyro Surfer combo if that comes to that. Although we're probably going to be playing this Eruption as a land. So let's just get in a Hasty Pyro Surfer. Green-black. Skoa. Okay, so definitely playing this as a land then. Getting with the Pyro Surfer. Landfall does not matter for the Pyro Surfer itself. They Wither and Bloom. Cast Charge Bug. Cast an Eruption. We're playing Eruption tapped. Here we go. Expanding Ooze. Alright, and that is going to demand a removal spell. Doop. Drew the White Source there, which is obviously fortunate for us. Yeah, get in. So every non-token we play gives another energy too. Kind of nice. Another Ooze. All right, so we get to attack for 5 this turn. Oh, ooh, piece of candy. All right, we're gonna do that too. So let's do this. Proliferate. Do we want to put the counter on something else? Yeah, I would say so. I think we're going to put it on the Charge Bug. We get to Proliferate. Yes, yes. All right, good things happening here. Basher for 7. Yeah, as like, you know, I was talking about the Charge Bug in the draft, and I think you can kind of see throughout our games how much work is put in. Path of Annihilation. This is a cool one. So they're Eldrazi's tap now for a mana of every color, or any color. And whenever they cast a large Eldrazi spell, 7 or greater, they gain 4 life. Okay, so it kind of blunts our offenses a little bit. I mean, they can block my menace creature, and can't adapt it, but they can block my Evangel, and that dies, which I'm not too pressed about. If that happens, that happens. So what I could do is, like, give the Inventor menace, and then I either kill an Eldrazi if they want to block, like, Ooze Eldrazi. I think that's pretty good. This works out less well if they have, like, something to cast. Oh, sorry, they can't cast anything with the spawns just yet. They're summoning sick, of course. So yeah, I think I do that. Give this +0 miss. Oh, it's also +1/+0. I forgot. Not just menace. Even better than I thought. All right, so now they have some decisions to make here. The Ooze has to trade off, I assume, with something. Yeah. It's actually a sort of interesting decision of what to kill, the Ooze or the spawns here. And I think it's actually probably the spawns, because if they can cast a 6-drop or 7-drop this turn, which they can if I leave the spawns around, then they gain 4 more life. Although they could also tap the spawns and sack them to cast a 7-drop. So I guess that probably means I should just kill the Ooze. Yeah, and they're like, they really want to do that. So, all right, looks like that's what's happening here. Kite's got a white activation, by the way, which is why I didn't play it pre-combat. I would have suited something up that turn if not. All right, so they cast a Giant Eldrazi, but that means they tap out. They also might just want another color. Like, they've got Jund mana in play. They might have a blue card in hand or something. They also just might not have a land that needed these two to, like, be able to cast a 7-drop, right? Tap them and sack them. Yeah, it looks like that might have been the case. All right, cool. So let's take one final look at this deck. Okay, so this is the second time I've drafted a red-white aggro deck that kind of looked like this. My first go had multiple Conduit Goblins, and I would definitely have liked more Conduit Goblins over some of the lesser twos, like the Hexgold Slith. But, like, all the other twos are pretty darn good. Like, I think if given the choice, yes, I would choose to play Conduit Goblins 2 and 3 over Charge Bug number 1 and 2. But I actually think these cards are closer than they look in power. Pyro Surfer, you saw the power of that. You saw that the Area Auxiliary was pretty good. Scurry of Gremlins, if anything, I think a little bit underperformed. I think the card is, like, pretty good, but not just busted. Skoa was solid, even though it cost 6 mana. So yeah, I hope this showcased some of the good cards for red-white aggro. And also, yeah, calling attention to these MDFCs, of course, just being good draws that helped us not flood. So yeah, stay tuned if you want more MH3 draft content. Gonna be putting out a bunch of draft videos, and thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.